lady. No, that's my own voice. Oh, it's fun. Working. Test 2. 1, 2, 3. Where's the fucking playback? Give me a minute. There it is. Boop. Let's see how that sounds. Apologies for the echo. It's fun. Working. Test 2. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Just making sure to trying out some new settings. Hopefully it all remains decent. Alright, hello. This is the final session covering Cathay and Ogres. Next week, hopefully, next week we'll have some news to discuss because next week will be the Skulls for the Skullthrone event. I think it's just called the Skulls event, but hopefully we should have some news regarding the old Immortal Empires or at least something to that effect. But either way, next week we'll probably be covering Slaanesh as our last faction. We'll probably only do 1 or 2 sessions on Slaanesh since it's just Slaanesh. But, well, enough of that. Today we are doing Ogres and Cathay. God, I still can't get used to this menu. I'm so used to the old one. It's about 2,000 hours of doing that to you. Alright, so with the patch notes, Cathay did get better. Last week, Cathay, some of the replays we showed for Cathay, obviously they didn't perform 100% well. They had some good playstyles. There's definitely some certain playstyles you can work in with Cathay, but they're not all the best. I think this is a good example of showing some of their new units off. So we'll go ahead and show this one off. This is Cathay versus Kislev. A quick battle I did earlier. Domination, Mountains of Morn. For any sort of like changes I might make, because let's be honest, over time our opinions change like a lot. Like already I feel my opinions changing on some of the units. I definitely think that the Dragon Lords, the Yin, really just the Dragon Lord of Yin might be the best Lord for Cathay. I do think Miao Ying's pretty good, but I think she's very locked into her playstyle with Terracotta Sentinels. Like that's really why you bring her, is for her healing. So to be honest, the Dragon-blooded Lord of Yin is just so versatile and cost-efficient and pretty good spells. Like unfortunately, Miao Ying doesn't get an access to some of the really good spells that she does, like the Ghost Summon. And what's the other one she gets? I can't remember. She gets a snipe one as well. Anyway, looking at this game, this battle. Thank you for that little speech there, Dragonblood Lord. So with the front lines here, we've got the Celestial Dragon Guard, 3 units of them. Now, if you might recall from my tier lists, I do say that heavy infantry are very bad for the reason that they get destroyed by big explosions and AoE damage. Kislev don't have much of that. They have their occasional spells, but outside of that, they don't have any explosive artillery. They don't have any big explodey spells outside of their vortexes, which is just bog standard. So this is actually the matchup, I think. This and Khorne are really the matchups where I think Celestial Dragon Guard do thrive quite well. Not only but obviously a lot of the Kislev infantry has armor, and these guys have armor piercing. Sorry, 1 second, I'm just checking something there. And obviously also the fact, like, if you look at the Yang effect, they have to get up to 49 melee defense while they're getting the ranged bonus from a nearby unit, so they get some really meaty stats. Taking a look at the rest of my army, I also have 2 Crane Gunners. These Crane Gunners were recently changed, although I don't think it shows on their card anywhere. No, it doesn't, but the projectiles that the Crane Gunners fire do now penetrate through infantry models. That is very big because Cathay has a problem dealing with heavy infantry, so they definitely have a lot more of a place in the Cathayan roster. Just got some Peasant Longspearmen here in the back. Over here, a flanking force of Jade Warrior Crossbowmen and Peasant Longspears. I've got my Lord flying over them by accident. I kind of forgot about her for a minute. It's one of the issues of having the deployment button in the bottom left, is it blocks out where your Lord is. Looking at the Kislev army, we've got Armoured Cossars, which are pretty good against Kislev because they're armoured infantry and Cathay has a problem dealing with those. And a lot of Cossars, along with a Ice Witch of Tempest, and I think there are a couple Ice Guards sprinkled in here as well. Oh, we also have the new Regiment of Renown unit, Daz's Hearthblades. These are fire damage, bonus versus infantry, great weapons. No shield, so not great against Cathay. If they were shielded, they'd be a lot better, but they are still going to tear through my Celestial Dragon Guard quite nicely. Did I hear someone join earlier? Did I hear someone? Is that you, Psycho?
Yeah.
Did hear you. Hello, Psycho.
Yes.
Just going over the last Cathay and Ogre video.
Okay. And how ogres are too fat for their own good.
Too fat. Well, we'll see some of that later on. Right now, we've got a Cathay versus Kislev battle.
Oh boy.
Because you know how those crane gunners are working now. You can see quite clearly these elite Daz's half blades have been shot up by the Cathay crane gunners. Already lost over half their health. Absolutely destroyed by the value. I'm pretty sure that was just one crane gunner as well. Like, these guys haven't been shooting yet. Let's see how much value these guys have rocked up already. Already 720 value from just like.
Pretty much means they almost pay for themselves.
Yeah, well, it's about 1,200. Yeah, so they're very much on their way to paying for themselves. Now, of course, the issue with these crane gunners is they're very weak in melee, and I do notice some Kosovoite dervishes going around, so I summon some Jade Lancers to counter. Over this side, things are pretty locked down. He's got Snow Leopard in the trees, and he's got some Winged Lancers, but they'll be fine on their own. It's very key to send, when it comes to sending units to domination points, you really want to stick a ranged unit with a melee unit, or multiple of each, just because they get that yin and yang bonus, and it's very big. Makes a lot of impact.
It keeps them alive far longer.
Absolutely. I did send my crane gunners down here, which was probably a bit of a mistake. I only really sent them down here because I wanted to make sure I gave the yin and yang buff to the Celestial Vanguard, because I didn't have anything cheap to move down there. Probably could have done with a cheaper like archer unit just to keep near my Celestial Vanguard, just to give them that bonus melee defense. The Kislev Lord is also now surrounded by some ghosts, armor-piercing anti-large ghosts as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got the Celestial card summon.
Yeah, Ancestral Warriors from the Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yin. I was just saying that I think in terms of Cathay Lords, I think the Dragon-Blooded Sorcerer of Yin is the best. What do you think about that?
I would actually, when I was first playing Cathay, I would use the Dragon-Blooded Lord because of that ability.
Yeah.
You could just summon up an entire unit
very good.
of expensive elite halberd units.
Yeah, I will also say that like it's very cost-efficient Lord.
Efficient. You could bring that plus I think like one other spell, maybe like the wave spell or a buff spell.
Yeah, I think I had the slow spell. Slow down enemy cav, and also I think I also had Talons at Night, just in case it had to blob up.
Yeah.
It's a very nice vortex.
So you could probably grab the summon spell plus like one or two other spells, and then they're what, 1,400 still?
I don't think it's that cheap. I think it's about 2,000, but it's still very good. Wait, it is 1,400. It's like because I took her on a Longma. That's an extra 700.
If you get
So she's on a flying horse. But yeah, it is about 1,400
The
if you
fact is
knock
that
that off.
the Incaster is also pretty okay in melee.
Yeah, especially on the Longma. Surprisingly good.
And they're very fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically a Pegasus mount, which we know how those good those were with Empire and Bretonia.
Yeah.
Seeing Leon Kerr go around on a
Warhammer 1,
yeah, remember back in the day, guys.
You bring an entire army of nothing but captains on Pegasi, just like
good times. I remember it was Leon Kerr and a Paladin on a Pegasus. They were like really good against like Wood Elves because he couldn't hit them. They were so fast.
Not only that, but you could just drop down and murder whatever lord they
any
have.
Lord, any Wood Elf Lord, apart from maybe Tree Lord.
Out.
They'd still hit pretty hard.
They could just take apart all the archers if they wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. I was also just saying next week we might have some. We almost certainly will have some news about Warhammer 3. Because it's Skull's event next week.
See what they tell us. So,
yeah, hopefully it'll be more Empire stuff.
Running into those guys and dying.
They are dying. I've noticed that even on like the lowest amount of health, these Zargard great weapons are hard to just destroy my Celestial Vanguard. Just to show how good they are at tearing apart infantry. You really need to just shoot them before they reach your infantry.
Yeah, well that's kind of the case for any like elite
exactly.
Infantry, especially heavy infantry units. Let's see. What do we got here? Yeah, bounding up against them, but no bonuses from any ranged units, so they aren't getting everything that they should get.
Yeah, I noticed that the Ancestral Warriors don't actually have the Yin and Yang effect, so they don't get a bonus or anything, but these guys could do with a ranged unit near them.
Yeah, but also it's a free Celestial Guard unit.
Yeah, so no complaints there. They're ethereal as well, so I think they have like 75% physical resistance here.
Yeah, so they shouldn't die very
They basically they just don't die until they're unsummoned. I also, for some reason, they are counted as alive because I think they run away if they run out of morale. They really should be undead. But, well.
No, I don't think. I think they're unbreakable.
No, they can cause terror, but oh no, unbind. No, it's the summon.
Yeah, it's a summoned unit. So.
Yeah, but no, it's not. Yeah, I think it still runs away if it. It's got nothing there about being undead. No, I don't know. See if they run away here.
If it's binding though, wouldn't it mean that it functions like a summoned unit, or summoned as in like a?
Yeah, I mean, summoned units do run away. Think about the Manticores. Manticores did run away when they reached enough health.
They would. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're a dead guy and you're like, oh no,
I fear.
Away, guys.
Oh, we don't want to die again.
I don't want to die twice.
Oh, but humiliating. I do summon some cannons back here. I think cannons are pretty good in this matchup as well as crane gunners. They're just.
But they could just be given the unbreakable trait and then.
Yeah, that would help a lot.
Yeah, it would allow them to
stay
in combat because sometimes Cathay's morale isn't super great.
No, I
you
think
only
Cathay
get
is
the one summon, so it's not like you're summoning like 3 Furies or something.
Cathay is really the one faction currently in the game that is the run away and come back faction in a sense. Not that they really want to run away, but like Kislev just doesn't run away, and demons just melt. So Cathay is the only one that sort of actually runs away and has a chance of coming back.
And which also means that the ogres only have one faction that will run away from them.
Yeah.
So they can like use their because one of the issues with the ogres, especially with the factions that are available, is that they're very based around shock and breaking formations and then causing morale.
Yeah, which most factions don't really care about currently.
They're using their superior speed and mass to run down the unit.
Yeah, I actually have a perfect replay of this exact thing next. It's very good. Shows one thing I don't think I utilize very much is just 2 stone horns, hunters that is, on stone horns.
Oh yeah, did you ever watch the replay where it was like me and Alex?
Which one was that? I've seen a lot of replays on that one.
Ogres.
Was this with stone horns?
No, this didn't have stone horns. Greases.
Oh, Greases. Yeah, I think Greases is probably the right choice in that matchup, I think.
Yeah, because, well, the only thing that's Greases weak against is missiles. If there's no missiles.
And there's no missiles for Slanesh. Haha, everyone laugh at Slanesh.
Yeah, you just sit there and be a fat fuck that.
Also, basically all of Slanesh's lords are large. Like, even if you bring the Herald of Slanesh, they're still going to be on a Seeker chariot, probably. Or a Seeker.
Yeah. And also, Greases has a mixture of debuffs and buffs, so you can just debuff whoever's fighting him and then just sit there.
Yeah, exactly, and he hits pretty hard as well if he manages to land one.
Exactly. Well, if he uses his, like, Scepter of Tyrants...
Yeah, he hits very hard.
Like, what, 840 damage?
It's very big, and he gets a bit of anti-large as well.
Yeah. Actually, the Scepter Tyrants in Greases is, like, anti-large by, like, 42.
Mm-hmm. Also, one opinion I think I have changed looking at this match right now. Like, you can see that my opponent does have a lot of armor and stuff coming in, like he's got a lot of units, but with the point advantage currently, there's no way I can lose. And that is one opinion I think I've changed, is that earlier I used to think that exploiting the game and having, like letting your opponent take the points to begin with was a strategy. I don't think it's a very good strategy anymore.
No, it's not a very good strategy, because it's literally gambling so much on somehow breaking through them.
Yeah.
If they're idiots and didn't bring like a mixed army to face off against all the different types of units, yeah, sure, that might work, but against anyone with brain cells, you're gonna just lose.
You're also just relying
on hit a wall.
Yeah, you're relying so much on having to like triple cap them, because if you let them get the lead, chances are that even if you take 2 points, they'll still win. So you really have to rely on like triple capping them, which is not something to rely on.
Yeah, like at least try and take 1 point from them if you can.
You really should be playing the point game a lot more than I thought you should. This is a very RTS-y game mode.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying this whole time.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's what you should have done to begin with, but it's I used to think it was a strategy available to you. It really isn't. It's not a good one, at least.
It's not worth it.
It's not.
I've seen people try and do that, and then they would like try and throw whatever units they have, but because I tend to the starting army always has like some sort of like frontliner that can hold the line. They just hit a stone wall, and then nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. I think there is factions where it might work against, but
give up 1 point and then just move everything to the other 2 points because I can just outpoint them at that point.
Yeah, outpoint them at that point. Yeah, they point.
Sorry.
You got to the point.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there will maybe be factions when a War Warhammer comes out that'll work against, like Skaven, but as it stands.
Yeah.
They're all the current factions are pretty holdy.
Even I don't think Skaven would get away with like sitting around and not taking any points.
No, but I mean, going against Skaven and sitting around not taking points for a bit would be fine because you can knock them off quite certainly. You can really smack them off the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but looking at the value
Because
of
of
some of this
Skaven.
stuff,
But also,
Crane Gunners are
Skaven
quite
would
good.
counter that with probably firepower, right? Rat
They can't
ogres.
really hold a point, is the thing. That they'll have as a problem.
Let me just close the fucking window. Jesus.
Fucking that industrial grinder outside. As for 2 Crane Gunners, they did pretty well for their cost. I do think that it is the Cathayan tool to deal with heavy infantry. Cannons, not so much, I think. Cannons didn't have a very good target to shoot at this game.
Alright, I'm back.
Hi back.
Okay.
So this is the one I wanted to show. It's a great illustration of just how this works so nicely. Like,
Crane Gunners.
I don't think I talked about it as much when we were doing the tier list, but Hunters with... The main reason why Hunters are so much better than Stonehorns is, for one, they have a little bit of a stat increase, but that's like neither here nor there. It's the Noblar Thief Stone. I think it's the Noblar Thief Stone that does that. I think that is a very, very strong item.
What does it do again?
It gives,
I don't use Hunters a lot.
It's constant effect, bear in mind. It's not a single activate, it's constant passive. It provides 15% damage resistance, and stalk, and unspottable. For a Stonehorn.
Oh, for us. Oh, they can get it on a Stonehorn?
Yeah, so you get a Hunter, you give it to the Hunter, you put the Hunter on a Stonehorn.
And it's an unspottable.
Yeah, with 15% damage
so
resist, flat out.
silly.
It's not physical resistance, it's ward save. So you will not. So you will take just flat out 15% less damage for that constant effect.
So.
Which basically just gives it an extra 15% extra health on top of regular ones.
Yeah, with already high health that the Stonehorn has. That's really silly.
It is. You'll see it in a second
That's a
how
bit of an oversight.
amazing this
That's
is.
a bit of an oversight. Like.
Looking at my side here, so we've got.
There's already a unit that has like the Hunter on it.
Yeah.
Right, with the ballista, and it's like.
But that doesn't get it, and that's more expensive. Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
Actually, after the nerf, now Hunters on a Stonehorn are 200 gold extra, but they still get the Thief Stone. So.
Yeah, they still get the finish though, so it doesn't matter.
Looking at my side, I've got 5 unit Noblars. Noblars were given a price increase, so they're not quite as good as they used to be, but I think they are needed in some of these matchups with a lot of anti-large.
They're always needed because
They just need to be the meat, extra meat, so to speak.
Well, yeah. I view the Gnoblers in the sense that they're effectively the meat shields for the ogres, where the ogres, due to their size and their ability to swing outside their very large hitbox, they can swing past the Nobblers and hit a unit, so they can be in safety of the Nobblers, and then not take any hits back.
Yeah, exactly.
Generally, how I would use them.
That's what they're there for. Because mixed in with them, I've got some Ogre Bulls with Iron Fists. I'm against Cathay, so obviously Cathay has a lot of ranged. The 2 stars of the show, 2 Hunters with Thief Stones. So here's the Thief Stone for those of you who don't believe me. 15% damage resistance, stalk, and unspottable with a duration of infinite. Now it is only enabled if they're outside of melee. But still, I mean, most of the damage that Stonehorns end up taking is from range power, especially against Cathay. So while they're doing the run-up, they get that flat 15% damage resistance. Slaughtermaster with the Great Maw, pretty decent there. Some Saber Tusks in the back just to flank around.
And also, doesn't the Slaughtermaster also have the heal?
Yes, he does, which is really good for these big hunters that have 10,000 health, because it's percentage-based healing.
Yeah.
So it works very well. Cathay's got 4 units of Jade Warriors with Halberds, 3 units of Peasant Archers.
I should also note that the Nobbler stats as a unit aren't actually that bad.
They're not too awful now. They're really good for the. They are just really needed. They also have a bunch of health for the cost as well.
Yeah, they have a lot of health, and they have like 26 melee defense. So they're like on par with the goblins.
27 melee defense. Yeah. Good.
27, yeah. So they're very good at holding, and sure, they may not kill, but that's what the ogres are for.
That's what the ogres are there mixed in for. Actually, I think we'll see an example of that in a minute as well.
Actually, you could. Well, probably what you could do is just focus on having Nobblers run in, tie up the front line, and if you have like the Stonehorn to give the leadership order, you could just have the ogres flank them.
Yeah, exactly. Or just terror out them, and if it's against Cathay.
Yeah.
Cathay does have Grand Cannons. Grand Cannons are quite good in this matchup because everything in Nogus roster is a good target for cannons, apart from the Nobblers.
Yeah, except Nobblers.
Longbow
also,
Riders, and a Dragon-blooded Lord of
because the
Heat.
stone horns can be invisible, it kind of makes Gorgers redundant.
Yeah, it is a little redundant, just because of that. And also,
Yeah.
like, you can't see it right here, I don't think. Yeah, it's not showing up, but I know at this point he couldn't see my Stonehorns. Stonehorns
Because-
could not be seen at this point where he's literally meeting. It's only when he started going in between the Jade Warriors and into the archers that they actually got spotted. I think you'll actually see the pop-up in a second.
Yeah.
Ah, no,
Also,
they are spotted now.
Wait, are those regular archers or the Jade Crossbow?
Peasant archers.
Oh, okay. Jade Crossbow will actually shred a unit of ogres. Just
Oh,
as
yeah,
a matter
absolutely.
of with shields.
They fire so
They
much.
will, because they fire twice per mob.
Mhm.
So it's like dealing with dark shards but without penetration. And yeah, and also good armor.
So you see over on this side we've got ogres with iron balls along with noblars fighting these Jade Warriors with halberds. You'd expect the Jade Warriors with halberds to do quite well. When I looked over at this engagement, it does not seem to go too well for the Jade Warriors with halberds, in the slightest.
Where? Oh wait, yeah.
I'll zoom over to them. You probably have a delay on the stream yet.
I think because they were turned around
They get
when they got attacked.
absolutely
They
smashed.
might have been attacked in the back.
Yeah, they might have done because of how the Stonehorn
no,
went through them.
wait, the guy charged them in. That's why he lost his brace bonus.
No brace bonus.
He thought it worked how it used to, because if you charged halberds into a large unit, it would just wipe out more than half its health.
Yeah,
Because you would benefit from the brace bonus and your own charge bonus at the same time.
yeah, I don't think this opponent was very good.
Yeah.
Wasn't the strongest
No,
opponents, but did show off the Stonehorn. I
yeah,
mean, I will say, this was Ted. This was Ted. This is Ted playing Cathay.
But
this is a Ted moment.
Community announcement. Yeah, the charging into a large unit with halberds doesn't work anymore. You have to actually stand still if you want the brace bonus.
Yeah, if you want that counter charge bonus, that's how they changed it.
Yeah. Well, it was never meant to be a counter charge bonus. You're just meant to sit still.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're meant to
Up.
do. So they've actually just made it
it's now working
correct. We do see these hunters just absolutely demolishing anything that comes near them. Some ancestral warriors have been spawned up on them, so that's probably when you want to pull them out. But they have so much mass, they literally push through anything Cathay can offer. It's only really like the Terracotta Sentinel that can even hope to stop them.
And
besides that, they're just unfazed.
It doesn't have a Terracotta Sentinel.
No.
Honestly, they'd probably be better off with a front line of just long spears.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think the halberds actually really aren't that good.
Not against ogres, because the thing is...
I don't think just in general. I think like the halberds attack animations are so much slower compared to everything else. Along with another of other factors, the fact they're more expensive than regular Jade Warriors, it's probably just not worth it.
Well, the other thing, the halberds, you're getting them because it's armor piercing and like anti-large, but you don't need that against ogres unless you're facing iron guts.
Or Stonehorns, which happen to have 110 armor, but not much stopping them, to be honest, even with halberds.
Yeah. At that point, you need Terracotta Sentinels.
You need Terracotta Sentinels and guns, which is really what you... But even then, it's like, these things just push through so hard.
Yeah, but they're probably going to need to change that, because it's two Stonehorns with invisibility, effectively.
Yeah, which just they just can't get shot by artillery on the approach, which is going to be even harder hitting when we had all those artillery factions like Skaven and shit.
Just imagine, it's like, oh, my Stonehorn is at half health, runs away, goes unspottable,
goes invisible,
and
and
heals,
healing and then comes back. And bear in mind that it also has a ranged attack as well, that it can fire while it's in melee. It can just start throwing shit down while it's fighting.
Javelins. Yeah, but I think the key thing is that if it was a front line of like peasants, they can hold the front line fine, and with the peasant bowmen,
you're not investing as much.
You're not investing as much, and then you can use that extra savings to either invest into more cavalry to pin things like the ogres in place, or you could actually bring Terracotta Sentinels, or crane gunners. I don't know. But the problem here is the Stonehorns. Like, what do you do when the Stonehorns roll up? Because one of the main ways they would deal with them is shooting them before they reach the front line.
Yeah, but the issue is they just get so quick. They are really fast. They push through your front line, so they can just get into your range anyway.
No, but they're invisible.
They're also invisible. It's not just that they have stalk; it's that they have unspottable.
It's not how fast they are.
I mean, yeah, but it's on top of the fact that like once they get to the front line, there's no stopping them. Yeah, not only can you not shoot them before that, but you can't even shoot them when they get there.
Yeah.
They're just running havoc.
Unless you have Terracotta Sentinels just on top of them the whole time,
you're
Yeah.
pretty screwed. There's not much you can do. Like, I guess, I don't know, are there net spells for Cathay
There's a
still?
slow spell, but that's like 45%. It's not very big, and it's the cheapest one.
Yeah.
There just isn't that much they can really do. They can shoot them and peck at them, but they have to peck them down pretty quick.
Yeah, oh wait, he's summoning crane gunners. I guess, like, the other thing is that you can bring in reinforcements from far away, like crane gunners, to shoot at them.
Yeah,
while
but
you-
yeah, I mean,
But that's also the convenience of, like, the peasants or something, is that you can just willingly just have them just run after the Stonehorn, just indefinitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But these crane gunners are just getting stomped. It's just that even if you do spawn in a unit of crane gunners, you can just run through them and just get to the crane gunners. You can just run through everything in between you.
Yeah. But also,
Literally
the crane
nothing
gunners are
stopping them.
way too close. Those could have been way further. Those could have been on the hill. Shooting
Yeah,
down.
back there probably would have been better to spawn them in. But just look how they run through anything. And I haven't even like healed them yet. I think I healed them
to
once.
be fair, I feel it's way less a problem of the actual Stonehorn itself and more just that one item. Without that item, this would
You definitely have a lot easier. Well, I think it was also just saying something about Cathay doesn't have much to deal with SEMs.
Well,
like-
they have their cannons. Like, the
Yeah,
cannons
but that's-
actually bring stuff down pretty well.
They do pretty well, but like cannons are like only so short-lived, and like cannons get picked off by saber tusks or flesh hounds or furies.
Well, okay, but and hear me out on this. If we're talking about against ogres, the saber tusks would also
Yeah, we're talking about against
have
ogres.
to get to the cannons first and not be intercepted by cavalry.
Yeah,
Because
Which is the
saber
key.
tusks also can rampage and then be useless.
that's true.
That's
But the trade-off there is the fact that
making
Ogre
the
Cav.
assumption that for some reason the Cathay player isn't just shooting the Stonehorn right out the gate.
Yeah, the trade-off there is that fact that Ogre Cav just stomps on Cathay and Cav.
Yeah.
Like
but,
more fangs with Iron
then
Fists will
you're
destroy
spending,
Jade Lances.
You're also spending 1,400 on your initial army as well, because all the cav for ogres are
Is
so
very
damn-
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a scenario that's like, well, you're gonna have to drop a Stonehorn if you want to grab a unit of like ogre cav.
Or you just have it in
Stonehorn
reserve
up.
and then you like send it in sooner.
Yeah, but even if you send it sooner, like a pair of cannons could probably bring it down. Or like even with the 3 archers, they could have done significant damage if they were able to see it.
Yeah, they didn't see it until it was directly in front of them.
The crux of my issue is that they're invisible.
That is what makes them so strong on hunters, and why the hunter variant is just chosen over regular Stonehorns any day.
You mean broken?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
pretty
know.
good.
Is there what other large single model unit that is that massive with that much mass is also invisible
Yeah,
without
none.
a spell? None. Case in goddamn point.
0.
I don't think how much. It just feels like more oversight. Like no one play tested the ogres or something.
Who playtested this? We'll definitely see, like, it's not too heavy of an effect currently in Warhammer 3 because, let's be honest, it really only works against, like, Cathay and Kislev. Everyone
Yeah,
else doesn't really give a
but-
shit.
What happens when every other faction comes out, especially ranged?
Yeah,
ones
exactly.
where
When
it's like-
Warhammer 3, when Immortal Empires comes out, then Skaven are going to get, like, surprise Stonehorn in front of them.
Yeah,
We'll have to see how that goes.
or like any Wood Elf faction, it's like, where is it? And then pops out, wrecks all of their archers, and runs away.
Yeah. Big old SEM. That's invisible.
Yeah, it's like, okay, alright.
Not to mention they are very good in melee. Like, they're not just a big anti-infantry thing. They did good damage against the Lord and
They
everything.
have decent melee attack, right?
Yeah, they have
40 something.
they have 44 melee attack, 32 melee defense, and then a big old their weapon strength's been decreased, so that's not accurate. 110 armor as well, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Has a lot of armor, especially against Cathay, which has problems doing armor piercing sometimes. With like their archers and their longbow riders don't do AP.
Like, I've brought down armored things with, like, if you use the
Yeah,
Jade Croft,
it
you
is
can
relying on
definitely
volume of fire though. It's not like they have a dedicated AP really besides handgunners and
and the Celestial Dragon
which sharp
crossbows.
will get run over by Stonehorns.
Yeah. Again, that's more like if it was a regular Stonehorn, then yeah, it'd probably die before it reached them because they can fire so fast.
Yeah, or at least they
Because
lose a lot more of their
They
health.
also get the fire
anything.
two model. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I feel like they need to do something about the is invisible part of that.
Yeah, let's take a look at the value of those Stonehorns. Or hunters, should I say.
Yeah.
So, Hunter's got 3,883 and 4,449.
And it's not like you're even like doing anything with them. They were just running around and attacking whatever's close.
But they do require a bit of management. You need to make sure you're not letting those ranged units fire
a
on you.
bit.
You need to run through, basically hit the ranged units, and then you're fine. And don't stay in combat with halberds for too long.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the like the bare minimum for most like.
Combined, they
large...
got 8,000 value, so you know that's something.
Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous.
And also the Noblars
fair.
as well. Just looking at the Noblars, like 421, 357, 552 value. That's against like halberds. That just shows the Jade halberd power there.
Yeah, because there was also nothing to actually buff them because all the archers had run away.
Yeah,
well.
so they'd lost their yin yang.
Yin yang bonus to keep them alive, and also I'm assuming the Long Riders didn't take the opportunity of charging the Nobblers in the back and just breaking them instantly.
No, they were too busy trying to deal with the Stonehorns. Failing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. I feel they need to change how the Hunter interacts with the Stonehorn so that doesn't... Because that's ridiculous.
I'd say they maybe make the item a one-use thing.
That would kind of defeat the purpose of using it on like a regular Hunter then.
Yeah.
Because that's making the assumption that you might as well just make a unit called like the Hunter on a Stonehorn.
I mean, they did only increase the price of the mount by 200. It used to be 1,100. It's now 1,300 to bring a Stonehorn on a mount.
Yeah.
With that as the mount, even.
But also, it was cheaper than other Stonehorns, so it was like it was cost efficient. Even if you didn't take the stone.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't take the stone, what the fuck?
Someone's popular. Anyway, with this battle here, we've got Cathay versus Kislev. Again, I think it's a nice illustration of how Crane Gunners are doing. Because, you know, Crane Gunners need their screen time as well. They went like a good couple months without it. So,
but yeah, it feels like the previous issues, like where the charge deflection thing was working while you're charging.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just an oversight that for some reason no one thought. It's like, man, do you think an invisible 10,000 health unit is going to be? It has as much health as a giant.
Yes.
Like.
So I think actually now that it's ultra, I think giants have a bit more, but.
Giants tend to have like what 12,000.
I know, but that was when it was on large, so I don't know if it's now bigger because it's on ultra. It will be
Maybe.
ultra bigger because it's ultra. Again, something I'm really looking forward to with the Mortal Empires. Now that everything's on ultra, I'm going to be interested to see how the factions play differently.
Yeah, but yeah, we can only yeah. They'll probably fix that either one by when you take the Stonehorn mount, you can't take the item.
Yeah, but that sounds like a lot of coding for something they've never done before.
No, I'm pretty sure they've done that before. Like
No, I don't think there's an item where you can't take one when you're on a mount. I think that's the thing.
But you can't take stuff when you're over the price pool. So I feel like they can do it.
If they've done it accidentally, I'm sure they can do it on purpose.
Like, I feel like it's not that difficult. It's like.
Yeah, but they probably won't put the effort in for a single item.
It's like, if over like funds amount, or it's like, if purchase of item would go over funds amount is true, cannot pick any other items. It's like, so just change that to like, if the Stonehorn mount is picked, X item cannot be.
They might just change the item. They might just give hunters a different item instead.
Yeah, like it's either give them a different item. I guess like even like a timed one would still be really good because it's effectively nullifying. It's doing something a spellcaster would have to do because there's no other monster monster is single in. Not
that ogres even have a spell for that.
Yeah, they don't have a spell for that.
It would be other factions like Skaven and shit.
Like I would do that with with orcs, greenskins, where I use
the goblin spell.
The goblin spell and with a giant and just walk it all the way up.
Yeah, or Ragnaroks as well. Would do well as well.
Yeah, or it was what I would do is like 3 black orcs with giant, walk up to their front line and just walk all the way, especially like empire boxes. Just walk through the sides, smash the artillery, and there's nothing they can do because the rest of their shitty spears that they brought is fighting black orcs.
Yeah, that was fun. This is very much in the same vein of that, but there's no spell tied to it.
Yeah, there's no spell time.
You don't have to make like a build around it. You just bring them,
You just bring it, and it's like.
and it works.
Yeah, that's. I always tend to have a problem with that, where it's like you don't have to make any like informed decisions. You just take thing that is incredibly good and
Go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very ridiculous.
Well, we'll probably will not see it change for a while, but it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah,
We'll have to see. I'm just so excited for the event next week.
Granted, also I think the problem with the ogres as well is that because there's such large targets, especially if you're against Cathay, due to the volume of fire, you just lose an ogre unit almost instantly if any jade crossbows shoot at one.
Yeah, pretty much they melt. But it does require a bit of volume of fire, which if you bring in a lot of ranged units against ogres, and you run the risk of them just flying down.
Yeah, well, the issue with well, I guess like the stone horns are what hundreds of stone horns, so you could probably bring enough ogres to just run, because you can run over the unit itself because the mass increases when they charge.
Mm-hmm.
So you just plow through the front line, especially if they've drawn their halberd lines really long, and just chase down the archers.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just run in between. Just use the Phallus of Death, right?
Yeah, just go between. If they have holes, if they haven't noob it. Noob line. Yeah, but there's no breath spells for ogres, so you don't even have to worry about noob lining.
Yeah, like.
Except from Amber Spear. That would be funny.
That would be so. That'd be pretty challenging.
I don't have to worry about it. They haven't got anything Amber Spear down the line of the Celestial Dragon God.
Down the line. That would be great.
Got old Boris surrounded here by halberds. Not a good spot for him. Boris does not want to be surrounded by halberds and spears.
Sorry, for a second I thought it was like Boris Podbringer. It's like, wait, what?
No, Boris.
He's not in this
oh
game.
yeah, there was two Borises now, aren't there?
There's two Borises.
I noticed that.
Taurus Bodbringer.
Well, everyone just knows him as Toddy, so not Boris.
Yeah,
just
that's
Toddy.
true. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's going too well for Kislev.
This is Ted again.
Yeah, it's what was the plan here? Because I remember once he brought like a massed army of like Kossars, and I think that was like what? I think we were against you and Alex. Can't remember.
It sounds about right.
Yeah. Actually, I do like bringing the Firebelcher as like the hero for ogres.
Yeah, I do as well. I think. Well,
Because
it depends on the faction, but yeah, he has his
yeah,
uses.
it depends on the faction. But one of the things I really like doing is dropping Firestorm, because if you have a bunch of ogres, the ogres won't get affected.
Or Bloody Head for the same thing as well.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna bluff up on my 3 ogres. I'm gonna just
Melt everything.
Yeah.
But also, Law of Fire is quite needed against some factions like Nurg or.
That very much so, because of the regeneration. But and also that is their only way to access a line spell.
Yeah.
Because of
Burning Head. Yeah, that's true.
Burning Head it feels less effective than it used to be, but I'm probably just remembering the time that I used it against the enchant. Like,
Rose-tinted goggles or something.
Damage.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think it's more because the shield
that was
blocked
a nice
the initial
cannon
damage.
shot. Cannon shot just took out like 8 Longbow Riders with one blast. That was bad. That was very bad.
Don't worry, they're gonna catch it.
They're gonna catch it.
Catch that cannonball with their teeth. So it looks like, looks like Ted's winning.
It does a bit, but then like the other points aren't being contested. Here we see that like.
They look like there are.
Well, this one over here has got the cavalry, but I think they end up losing to the Jade Warriors. And that's my lord there, so he really just has the one unit of Winged Lancers over here, and then the other point isn't contested at all. Like, I think obviously a lot of people aren't used to playing. This isn't just a Ted thing. This is an everyone thing. People obviously used to land battles for so long that domination. People tend to focus. People focus on killing the enemy army, not playing the objective.
Yeah.
But playing the objective is usually what wins you the game.
One of the things I liked doing was, because the only Vanguard deployable unit, the Trappers and the Forgers, and I use them to stand on points.
Mm-hmm.
Because one is ranged and the other one is just
non-spottable too, and okay at melee. But
I know when Warhammer 3 released, a lot of people were like iffy about whether or not domination was good. I think it's good.
I think it's good too. It's just sometimes the maps have the issue of it just being 3 lanes.
I think I think the maps do have the issues of being quite samey. I think you could have varying numbers of points or something like that.
Literally, like they've done it in previous games before, like where they have 3 points on a map that you can take, and it's just a regular land battle map.
Yeah, there's a little problem with map variety and map sort of like compositions.
Yeah, they can. I don't
think they need
like,
exactly 3 points all the time. They could do like 2 or just even 1 or 5 or.
Hell, they could do 5. Yeah. Like adult squads, just 8 flags.
But apart from that, I think it is like a nice like change. I think the tactics in Total War before tended to revolve a lot around like abusing the game mechanics. This is a lot more like actually RTS-y. This is actually like
where you have to
tactics and thinking.
Yeah.
And
It was
outplaying, moving, something. Yeah.
It was always frustrating where it's like it was less about them outmaneuvering you and just happening to just spam what is completely broken.
Yeah, that was land battle tactics was basically just abuse what there is and hope that you happen to have a build that counters your opponent's build.
Yeah, in this there is no like directly counting the build because
you have reinforcements and it's a lot more flexible with your armies as well. So
everything's a lot more flexible. With
exactly. There is like faction imbalances, but obviously like Nurgle gets destroyed still. But.
Well, yeah, but that's just more an issue of Nurgle.
Yeah, that's not. It's not like a land battle. It was the same in land battle.
But also, I think that's an issue of the 3-lane thing, where like they need to keep spread out their incredibly slow force.
Yeah, when Nurgle really excels at blobbing.
Yeah.
If it was down to 1 point, Nurgle might do a lot better.
Like on this map, like a lot of times, if I remember, like anytime Nurgle player, it's a Nurgle player, they ignore 1 of the points. They don't even try.
Yeah.
Because their best bet is to get a secure foothold on 2 points and then sit and hold it.
Yeah.
And
Nurgle.
Keep screaming in, playing bearers,
triple
anything that can get there and hold the point.
Which is another thing. It's like Nurgle is fucking mad if they think they can try and exploit the game and be like, I'll let him take the objectives and then I'll just sit here for a bit. That's a terrible idea. They need to secure the 2 objectives they can and hold them for dear life.
Yeah. Though I remember like doing 2v2 nominations. One of the deadliest combos is just Nurgle Cathay.
Yeah.
Because Nurgle has all of the holding power and Cathay has all the firepower.
Yeah, it can be a good mix. There isn't much mobility there, but it's not compared to the other factions.
Yeah, but you don't need mobility because the thing is, Cathay do have cavalry for the mobility to take points.
Yeah, it's just not like good compared to like Khorne, ogres.
But on the flip side, when the actual core of the force, because remember, their strategy would be take 2 points and then fortify and then sit and wait.
Yeah.
They don't need to do anything else.
Which is assuming they follow that strategy consistently.
Yeah.
Which, we need 2 fairly rational individuals who are working together there.
That's true. That's true.
Well, Ruben just called me a nerd.
Rational.
Called me a nerd. I'll be doing that. It's current, yeah. I'm over here showing my replays of me thrashing Ted for the 80th time this week.
Yeah. I haven't been playing Total War, Warhammer 3 recently.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like we've got Immortal Empire soon. I'm good. I swear, next week we'll get Immortal Empire's news or some sort of information, and I'll be very excited to cover it.
If they just release it, that'd be better.
Nah, they won't. That won't happen.
Because they are like I don't think that they're gonna be like, oh, we gotta polish it up, guys. It's like bullshit. Just release it. We know you're gonna release it.
Well, they said they're gonna release the beta, so
yeah.
that's something. But I mean, we'll definitely. I think we'll either get a date or maybe we'll definitely get information. We're almost certainly gonna get more Empire's information next week, which I'm excited for.
Because I wanna play Warriors of Chaos and then be disappointed still.
Yeah. But I suppose
they'll have like 1 tacked on unit. It's like they're totally new now, guys. Trust me.
Completely new. Well, I think it'll be fun going back to the old factions just because how everything's on Ultra now. Just for that sole reason of like everything will feel different.
Yeah, I can just use my pike and shot thing where it's just lots of handgunners.
Yeah, just a lot of guns.
Is that a flying unit you got there?
Time to die.
Not anymore.
Crane Gunners there also did very well, 2,500 value.
The thing I like about
Nice.
the new version of the Crane Gunners is that they don't feel like broken or anything.
They just feel
where
correct. They feel like
Yeah,
this is
they
how
feel
they should have always been.
They're pretty. They can get their value, but if they get caught out, you lose them because they die very easily.
They do die quite easily, which is why perhaps they don't work too well when Furies are involved, but as long as you can defend them from Furies, you're good.
Yeah. As long as they're defended from Furies, or protected from like fast hounds, that sort of thing. Alright, let's see what other the Rebel Lord of Nanyang.
Yeah, the Rebel. I do like the faction. That's another thing as well when Immortal Empires comes out. We're
you
going to have
can
all the
actually-
different colours of factions.
I can be the
You
white
could be the
Chaos
you could,
Warriors.
you could be the white or the black Chaos Warriors. There's no other options.
Yeah.
I say white, it's more of a
Finally.
grey.
Yeah, more of grey, the Grey Warriors.
Grey Warriors. That is it for the replays I have, but I did want to go over the RORs quickly. Just have a quick look at those. I don't. You've used them all, Psycho?
I haven't had a chance to use it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I know that they're fairly strong.
It depends on the one, but yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
decent.
So I guess do you want to go to the an army land build thing so you can look at them?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay,
Um,
you just
on
it's
the
just
screen, like.
like behind.
Yeah, it's just lagging behind a little bit, but my voice is in time with the stream, so in terms of what they're hearing, it's fine. It's just
That
your
is
point of view
true.
that's crippled.
Skewed.
Yeah. So looking at first of the alphabetical order, we've got the June Dragons. These guys are Celestial Dragon Guard with immunity, psychology, and magic damage,
Which
and a
is
bit of spell
something
resistance as well.
They kind of need that, right? Like, because of the whole. Also, I guess one of the other issues with Cathay is that their formation attack sucks.
Yes, they do also have encourage as well, so they are a leadership anchor, so to speak.
And how much are they? Wow, that's.
They are 300 more.
That's not bad, actually.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
aren't.
what
They're,
are those-
in terms of like when
Okay.
you're bringing a Celestial Dragon Guard, I'd say bring the June Dragons. That's
Yeah.
my rating for that RRR. It's one of those RRRs where it's like, man,
Like,
if you've got the money to squeeze it
you're-
in, may as well.
Yeah, being also having that magic resistance is actually.
Yeah, spell
much-
resistance is
much
nice
better.
because obviously the heavy
Yeah,
infantry has a
because
problem with getting fucking nuked from orbit.
Zapped.
But obviously
how
it's
much
magic
spell
damage,
resistance?
so it's even better against demons and stuff as well. It's 20% spell resistance.
That's pretty good, actually.
It's decent.
Yeah, that could actually allow them to survive like pretty hefty spells.
Yeah, so something to note if we go to demon faction, and I think against Khorne, these guys will excel the most. Of course, the
Yeah.
spell resistance doesn't come much into play there, but everything else about it
And
does.
just imagine with Yang with like the 24 extra melee defense.
Well, the 24,
It's
it's like 9.
77
So
melee
you get
defense.
6 extra, yeah, so you get 56 from the Yang.
Oh.
Oh, no, it's up to
yeah.
12 if you get the bonus of 100%.
Oh, up to 12. Yeah.
Because obviously if you have
so,
like Miao Ying nearby.
Yeah, 65%.
65 melee defense, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Looking, so yeah, they're just pretty solid. Next, Khorne. These guys, Exalted Bloodletters. The Hellforged Host. Unfortunately, I think these guys are the more boring end of things. They are, they just have more armor, and they also have their Hellblade just activates
Always
sooner.
active.
No, it activates
Oh,
sooner,
okay.
and it does have a bit
Oh.
more of a bonus to it.
I'm just waiting for it to catch up so I can.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's all.
their version of Hellblade only requires 40 kills, where the regular Hellblade requires 80, and they gain an extra 5 melee attack with it as well.
Like literally, if they charge into a unit, they're most likely going to
Yeah,
get
but
their health
40
right off
kills,
the
as
bat.
long as they're fighting an infantry unit, they're probably going to get that activated.
It's
Um,
also 1500.
Yeah, it is very expensive. This one is another, again, 300 extra. They get an extra 20 armor, which is, something, I guess. And
Yeah.
obviously they've got giant stats for the cost, like 52 melee attack with the bonus versus infantry of, 13? So they have 65 melee attack against infantry.
Against infantry. Like I would see that if you can get a good charge in on any ally unit.
Any
then
infantry. Just
they're-
melt.
Yeah, any infantry, they'll get that hungering blade, and then, but also 1500. You could bring 2 Chaos Warriors for that.
You can, it's a price thing, definitely. You can get
Yeah.
nearly
it's-
2
it's-
regular bloodletters for that one. But
yeah, it's just like
against those factions,
because-
like in the Khorne mirror match, they'd be really good.
yeah, or against any faction that isn't going to just shoot them apart.
Yeah,
or
shooting is really the
cavalry
main
charge
threat.
them down. Actually, cavalry would be a big threat to them too. Because you
It
could
depends
just
on the
quickly charge
cavalry. Some of them will get flattened, but like if there's war bears, these guys actually probably flatten them.
Well,
any shock calf. Like I'm thinking
Yeah,
in the
yeah, I
sense
think
of
Winged
like
Hussars or Jade Lancers.
either
Yeah.
they run into them, hit them, run away before they
Mhm.
can even get their attacks out, and then that's the main threat. Like if you're facing a foe that has better mobility than you
Like
or better
these aren't really good
missiles,
against the Slanesh. Slanesh did get flattened.
yeah.
I'd say Corn Mirror and then maybe like Nurgle. That's about it.
Or actually, I could say any faction that tends to have heavier armor.
You could argue
or
ogres. I mean, even though they're anti-infantry, they have big melee attacks, so they'd still like do quite well against. But then you just probably
yeah,
just bring halberds instead.
yeah, you could just bring corn warrior halberds. And bring like 2.5 of them.
Yeah, so it's like it's a good unit, but don't bring it against a ranged faction.
If you've got a specific it has a specific goal that it wants to do, and if you aren't facing a faction that has a unit that it can kill which is heavily armored, heavy infantry, it's kind of wasting your money at that point.
Yeah, probably.
Because everything else about it is literally just a better version of a Exalted Bloodletter.
Mhm.
Which you could just get an Exalted Bloodletter.
Or you could just get regular bloodletters even.
Yeah, get
To not have
regular
to
Bloodletters.
throw all your money into one place.
Yeah.
Next up, Kislev. We saw a bit of the ROR earlier in one of the replays. They are Daz's Hearthblades. These are Zargard with great weapons that have flaming attack as well as fire resistance. They also have a one of the Castalton's prayers where they restore vigor to themselves and any nearby allies.
It's like the Volker Firetails.
Yes, but on an elite infantry instead of a piece of shit.
Well, no, they're elite infantry.
They're clan warriors. They're clan rats.
They're as elite as Skaven is gonna get. Okay.
They're fucking clan rats.
They're elite clan rats. Thank you very much. They worked very hard to get
They
through there.
worked very hard, I'm sure. Now, this is the other than Castalton with his special ability that gives an AoE of fire damage. These are the only source of fire damage in the Kislev roster.
Yeah.
Which is fire damage, good with Nurgle, undead, that sort of thing. I should also note that in the patch notes, Zargard with great weapons got a buff to their melee defense. I think they used to have like 30, now they have the same amount as melee attack and melee defense.
They actually have, like, that's really good. Actually.
Yeah, they got a buff. They think they got +6 to their melee defense in the patch notes, if I remember rightly.
Well, yeah, 36. That's really good.
Yeah,
like,
that makes them a lot
out.
more viable. It's really just against range factions that you'd be hesitant to bring them against.
45 melee defense is really good.
Yeah, with fire attack.
Yeah, 45,
and
45.
bonus versus infantry of 10 as well, so that's 55.
Of course,
45.
the obvious thing is that missiles are a threat.
Yes.
And
again.
being cycle charged. Other than that, they can clear, even if you're not against like armored units, they can clear out frontline infantry really well, and their high stats would actually outpace shitty
These guys do have a bit higher mass than the usual, than the elite
too.
infantry.
And with the Buyer of Blood.
Corsairs only have 100 mass, these guys have 175, 50, 150.
Yeah, so they're if you need something to kill, this is for me. This would technically be a better deal than the Exalted Bloodletters because of the mixture of stats, fire.
Yeah, I'd say
fire
so.
resistance
and an extra ability that restores vigor.
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty solid unit. I say again it is the fact that they are vulnerable to range factions,
Also,
but I guess like Nurgle definitely very good. We saw them against Cathay, but they did get shot up quite a bit.
Even against things like Cathay, as long as they're not using armor-piercing missiles, because of their high armor, they can usually withstand the initial brunt. And with that vigor, they could keep fighting, and as long as they've been relatively alive, you can, or would benefit from healing too, something like it. But you don't need spells.
No, you don't need.
Well,
apart from the prayers and stuff.
If you have Castalton with them, that's not too bad.
Well, you are kind of losing out on the fact that Castalton's big thing is he gives fire damage to everything.
That is true.
But these guys already have it.
I mean, you run them over to heal them, I guess.
Yeah, but it's weird. Maybe a regular Patriarch would do. They also have healing.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, just slap a Patriarch with them, and that's pretty good.
Pretty meaty, yeah.
But
so as a whole, they're like, again, vulnerable to ranged, but they do their job and they have fire damage, so they're filling that little niche they have.
Yeah, and unlike the Exalted Bloodletter ROR, it has more armor.
Yes. No, these ones don't. These have the same amount of armor as the regular Zargard, but the Bloodletters.
No, I mean
you mean
in general.
Oh yeah.
in
so-
general. They have 90 versus 60.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the next unit
So
is.
next one is Nurgle. These are Exalted Plague Bearers, the Festering Stooges.
Festering Stooges.
These guys are pretty much, if I remember rightly, they just have the 2 passive ability changes. Instead of Cloud of Flies, they got Gloom of Flies, which basically just means they cause terror.
Okay.
But their main selling point is the fact they got a regeneration that also resurrects dead combatants.
Oh, so it's like
Like a constant invocation of the heck.
No, I'm just trying to think. Which unit actually has that?
I don't think there's
Or is-
any unit that has regeneration that also restores dead combatants.
Yeah. That's like even against like ranged units, that's not actually a bad unit to bring.
Yeah, exactly. Because they restore their health so quickly, it's like pretty good.
Yeah,
And the
I
fact
think
the main selling point is the fact that dead combatants will resurrect. So that range stuff won't matter. Oh, well, they get hit by a cannibal, get back up. You're not
Yeah.
dead yet.
literally you could bring them against a ranged faction, and if they try and shoot it down, you just throw a heal on them, and then they'll just waste their ammo.
Yeah. And
It's
you
the
don't even need to drop
scenario
the heal;
that-
they just regenerate on
I
their
feel
own.
like that's the festering those
The Festering
ROR for
Stooges.
Festering Stooges. It's a unit for Nurgle that is like there's no reason not to bring it. It's just
Yeah.
too good.
It is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I
don't bring it against like Zinch, because Zinch will have fire attack on all their ranged weapons, and they
that's
will just
true,
melt
which
them.
will negate it.
Like they will seriously.
But-
But against like Cathay and Kislev, these are definitely quite
But they
very
also
powerful.
have 12,000 health. How fast are they gonna kill them?
They're also still slow, because they're plague bearers.
Yeah, that's true too. But that's more a general problem with
With
Nurgle. but-
I think we just determined that the revolutionary idea that Zinch beats Nurgle. Who could have thought?
Yeah, because fire damage.
Who could have thunk
But
it?
even with the Stooges, they're still 12,000 health. So, is all of their
13,000 health.
Fire? 13,000. Yeah. All their attacks fire, or
Well, all the horrors are, all the flamers are.
okay. But
but-
anything other than that
but
is.
That is really what you bring against Nurgle. It's just horrors and flamers.
Yeah. I guess you
Uh,
could support them with like flies or something.
Yeah, you'd have to fly
Or
in Furies
use
really. That's
soul,
the kind
or
of thing you
soul
try and do.
grinders to give us a fire support.
Yeah, a little bit of that plague mortaring.
Yeah, or hell, you could have the cultist ride up, use something to kind of tie up those units.
I don't know. I don't see them too
There's-
much of a change in like the demon matchups, but I think against like Kislev and Cathay, you do bring these ones. Not only that, but they also cause terror. So
What about Corn? Corn's gonna.
Khorne as well, but I think you already bring Exalted Plague Bearers in the matchup. So
Yeah, I feel like.
these are just,
Well,
like,
I
more
feel
than the same.
like the Exalted Plague Bearers kind of can get away with just being picked against anything because it's 350 for the ability to regenerate through everything. Because
Yeah,
does
it's
the
actually-
fire damage does the fire damage stop the regeneration still?
I actually wanted to clarify this because I can't remember exactly how it works, but I'm pretty sure. Why am I doing this? I'll do this easier. Let's see.
Yeah, because if it stops the regeneration, then
Yeah,
that's gonna
units hit by flaming attacks heal at half the usual rate while on fire.
well, that's still healing.
It's still healing,
Yeah, that's again. The focus is that they can still regenerate,
but
even
it's still
if they're
half
taking.
healing as well.
Yeah, but you could just throw a healing spell on them. And
But
they'll
also,
still
I should note
regenerate
that this
from dead
because this
combatants.
isn't normal regeneration, they don't have weakness to fire, like normal regeneration units do.
Oh yeah,
This is
so they actually
Their
so,
own special
yeah,
regeneration.
so yeah, it'd be. I feel like it wouldn't be a bad choice to bring them against anything, even if they have fire damage.
I think
because-
the main problem isn't so much the regeneration that they lose out; it's also the fact they only have 35 armor and they move like zombies.
yeah,
and you're
but
gonna
also
get hit
that's
by a
kind of
bunch of
problem
missiles.
for like the whole Nurgle roster, rather than just that unit.
Yeah, but the unit is amplified variant of it, isn't it? It's like a to the
Well-
extreme of what the Nurgle roster is.
Well, look at it this way: they either shoot that, or they shoot your Great Unclean.
It is a good unit. It's just like what
Yeah.
matchups you sort of bring it in. I definitely think it
Yeah.
helps a lot more in the Kislev and Cathay matchup. But you'd bring
I
it
know it helps more, but what I'm saying is that you could probably bring it in any matchup, and
Yeah, probably.
it's still going to be at the
in. It
most
has the potential. To
pretty
be.
okay. Yeah, it has a lot of potential, and if it's left to its own devices, it could be a significant threat. So, what's the next unit?
Next unit is Ogre Kingdoms. These guys are man-eaters with pistols. The powder
Oh.
guts.
Boy,
These guys wear fancy hats, and they also have a lot more. Because the thing is, Ogre pistols got nerfed in the latest patch, Their shooting damage got reduced a lot more. I think these guys are back at normal, basically.
Yeah.
So they have the old
have the same
missile
damage.
strength. And they have extra 20 range, which you don't normally get with RORs or like rank ups. I mean.
Yeah.
I think the main selling point. So they shoot a lot more. And
They
they have range.
Rate of fire.
They have a fire. I think they do actually have a fire rate, faster rate of fire as well.
Yeah.
But they also have the range as well, so they're going to be shooting more anyway. They also do more damage, and they have the usual stat increase. They also have this little buff. I think that's it. Apart from the little buff they get.
Adaptive tactics.
Yeah, which basically means is that if they're losing in melee combat, they get an extra 24 melee attack and extra 24 melee defense.
Ooh, on top of the 50 and 52 they have.
Yes. So if they're losing, they won't be losing for long. Frankly, these guys are very strong in melee with anything.
And also they have a very strong missile
Gun.
attack.
Yes.
But also that's a lot of money.
It is nearly
That's a
2,000
Stonehorn.
gold. That is nearly a Stonehorn. But it is pretty
Actually, that's
good.
more than a regular Stonehorn.
Well, yeah, but nobody brings the regular Stonehorn. Everyone brings the Double Thief Stone.
Yeah.
Which is 2,250.
Yeah. So. No, I was talking about the actual, like, in the Monsters Beast section.
Yeah, regular Stonehorn. But nobody brings that.
For a normal Stonehorn.
Everyone's dealing with Thief Stones these days.
Yeah.
They traded Thief Stones.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're going to either remove the Thief Stone entirely, or change its effect so it
Yeah, who
doesn't
knows?
make them unspotable.
I know what we're talking about right now. Man-eaters, great weapons.
Yes.
I mean, pistols. Powder
Man-eaters
guts.
with pistols.
So-
So
It's man-eaters with pistols. They're a pretty solid unit against like SEMs and even like cavalry. The extra range helps, but
well,
this is
given,
like a
given the fact they do like what 138 per shot and
Yes.
there's what 16 models.
16 of them.
That's they could easily
Yeah.
bring down a lord.
They
from
do
far
very
away.
well against like SEMs and lords and casters and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when they run out of
Yeah.
ammo, you throw them into melee and they destroy everything.
Yeah.
Because even if they're losing, well, if they're winning, actually, they're more likely to die because they don't have the adaptive
Well-
tactics.
Yeah, but in a lot of cases, how it gauges if you're winning or losing is requires them to actually be in a situation where they're losing a lot of health.
Hmm Which with
So-
52 melee defense isn't going to have that much actually.
Yeah, and if it does, that would be usually if someone's blobbing on you, which at that point, just drop a spell,
Yeah, just boom. So yeah,
just explode them.
pretty solid unit. In the situations you bring a man-eater as a
very
pistol, I bring one of these.
expensive,
Yeah, it really
Or
is very expensive, but I think if you're going out of your way to get man-eaters with pistols, get one of these.
Yeah, get one of them with another unit of man-eaters and
Yeah.
pistols.
I'd say that's probably the best one if you're going for that man-eater pistol
Yeah.
playstyle.
Or actually, if you're getting like a pair of lead belchers and you get man-eater pistols with them,
Mhm.
because doesn't that extra range kind of push them up to? Because I know the
Well, man-eaters
belts
with pistols
are like
here have
200.
1,600, no, 160, and then lead belchers have 200.
yeah, that's not too far apart.
That's not too much of a difference. So, and these guys will, destroy furies, unlike lead belchers, which will lose them.
Yeah. So, and if anything comes to try and like fly on top of them, they just murder anything that
exactly.
gets near. So I feel like it could also be a good support unit if you got a lead belcher line. Oh, it's Ruben.
Yeah, Ruben dab.
He
Nice
dabbed.
dab, Ruben. Really just ruined the entire stream with that dab. Thank you,
Yeah.
GK. But yeah, very solid unit. Man-eaters with pistols. They hit hard, and they've got almost lead belcher range. I'd say bring them if you're bringing
Like,
man-eaters.
let's say,
Bring them...
yeah, it would cost like what 4,000 to bring man-eaters with 2 lead belchers, or even like 1 lead belcher would be like 3,000.
Yeah, there is the fact that you can get like 2 lead belchers at the price of one of these, which there's an argument to be made there, maybe.
But well, not really, because again, the lead belchers die really easily to
In melee, if they get in melee. Of course, if they never end up being in melee, then it's like you ask why you bought these.
Yeah, but it's unlikely, especially with the faction. Oh, that's kind of an impossibility that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has something to reach over.
If they
a
want
line.
to reach them, though, is that another question? Maybe just ignore them. But I don't know. I think they're a good unit. Again, ROR being RORs.
They
next
seem
one.
like they're worth the cost.
The next one, which I think is really good, even if it's actually for some reason I think this is the smallest price difference in the units. It's Slanesh, Exalted Demonettes of Slanesh. These are the Bringers of Beguilement. Now, the big selling point on these guys is, first of all, instead of having their usual charmed effect, they enable Rampage. So they
so they're
have
like
poison that applies Rampage.
The Witch Elves of Cain or something.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like witch elves.
Yes. And on top of that, they have perfect vigor, which is insane.
Yeah, so they never tire.
They never tire. These guys, well, I say guys, it's kind of hard to tell with demonettes.
Fellas.
These things are very strong, to say the least. They will melt through infantry. They will melt through anything. They obviously don't have the most mass, so they do get flattened by cav. But if they rear charge a cav unit, it's going to die really quickly. And because they have perfect vigor, they are fighting at full strength consistently all the time, and they enable rampage. So, say you do run into a cav unit, then you trigger their rampage, so they're forced to be in melee with you, and they can't cycle charge.
Yeah, it kind of indirectly counters one of the main counters for elite elite infantry, which is cycle charging. You can't cycle charge this unit.
Yeah, I believe you.
Also, Ruben says he also has perfect.
Yeah,
vigor.
I don't believe him.
Ask my ex.
Kappa, doubt.
Um.
But again, I mean, like, you're talking about elite infantry. The Slanesh elite infantry are not your regular elite infantry. They are fast and they are very lightly armored.
Unlike,
just very fast.
Because I know the charm ability from the other one literally just causes the unit not to attack.
Yeah, it loses melee attack.
Oh, I thought it was just straight up like the model won't attack.
No, it just reduces melee attack, I think, is the idea.
Okay.
But I mean, having rampage is way better, in my opinion, than just losing to melee. And also perfect vigor. They also already have 54 melee defense. 54 melee defense. And 59 melee attack. Let's compare these guys with the Bloodletters.
Yeah.
So the our Bloodletters have
slightly cheaper, but
yeah. So Hellforged Host are 1500, and they have 52 melee attack and 43 melee defense. That's 1500, 52, 43.
But they got 45 more armor.
52, 43. And then Slanesh is 1450 with 59 melee attack and 54 melee defense. And then they have 54 speed and the rampage and perfect vigor.
They don't have any bonuses to infantry, but that
They don't, but I mean, I think with the added on, it's about the same.
Yeah. Granted, yeah, the actual bloodletters are I guess a better fighting unit, because the thing with the Exalted Demonettes is that their best situation is to attack a unit that cannot win against them.
Yeah, that is the best situation.
You don't want to do it on a Zargar that's going to start trying to run them
But you
down.
can also say the fact that like Bloodletters have 43 melee defense compared to these
Oh.
Demonettes, which have 54.
Oh, I don't believe.
So Lycus and Ruben are fighting in the comments.
Better spot now with the bug fixes.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Ruben? Which one were you talking about?
I don't know.
With the
What
bug
is he
fixes.
talking about?
Who are you talking about in the bugs?
I don't know.
Who's in the
Ruben's
best
saying
spot?
something about the bug fixes.
Yeah, who's in the
They
best
were
spot?
talking about something. But I was gonna say that one of the strats you could probably do with the Slanesh Exalted, the ROR Exalted Demonettes is you could hit a unit and run away, and then the unit would be forced to follow.
And also, you
can pull it out of position.
It works even better with this one because it's run away and you never lose vigor. You can run as long as you want.
Yeah, you can just run as long as you want. So you can just run it, and their speed is like 54. So you just, what's the HP difference? Oh,
There's no HP difference between the regular.
Between the bloodletters and them?
Between the bloodletters. Oh, that's a good question actually. So that's 7,700, and these guys are 9,200. Okay, so there's the difference in holding power. Slanesh units do not have the most.
They have 4 times as much armor.
Yes, Slanesh are in a little bit better position now. I think people have. They're not. The chariots aren't broken. If that's what you mean with the bug fixes.
Chariots work as intended.
They got fixed.
I could see this like ROR being pretty much used for a lot of stuff.
So there's the direct side by side. I could have just used this to begin with between bloodletters and bringers of beguilement. So they have obviously less health, but perfect vigor and more base stats. They're a very good unit, and also only 200 extra, unlike the rest have been 300 extra. Than the base free. I think if you're bringing Exalted Demonettes, you bring this absolutely, no questions asked.
Yeah.
It's just a better Demonette unit by far.
Yeah, and having the ability to rampage some assholes like cavalry.
Oh, a lord! Like imagine you surround a lord with this.
Oh
he's
yeah,
dead.
you get a lord. You get Nakai to get in there.
He's just dead. Yeah, he's gone. Really, really good. Onto our final unit. Yeah, it is Tzeentch. They get an Exalted Pink Horror unit. It is 300 more than a regular Pink Horror.
Man.
There are 2 differences here. Number 1 being that they have Warp Flame attacks, which applies
Okay.
less armor and a weakness to fire damage. It's
So
the
wait,
same
the
thing that
shit
flamers
that
have.
the blue flame, like
Yeah.
the flamers get.
Yeah, same thing the flamers have. Warp flame.
Oh, okay.
So they apply weakness to fire and -10 armor, which is exactly what you want with your mixed in with your horror units.
Yeah, with your ranged units.
Yes, which is even amplified even more when they have an ability called Conduit of Infinity, where they can replenish nearby ammo.
It's like well, every single like ROR archer unit that has like an armor reducing effect,
Mhm.
like the rusty
Yeah, like
arrows.
armor sundering basically, but it's not quite as good as armor sundering,
Yeah.
but it's still decent.
It effectively is armor sundering, but on a shittier scale.
Yeah, so on top of that,
But
they also
it
have
but the flip
replenishment
side is
armor.
also increasing the fire damage that they're taking.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like an extra
So
bonus because almost everything does fire damage in terms of ranged.
yeah, it already does fire damage, and you're reducing the armor.
Yes.
Uh,
Then they also get
is
an
there anything
ability
else
where
about,
they
like,
can.
their stats, their melee stats aren't awful.
Yeah, well, they're not as good as like everything else we've looked at so far. That's for certain.
Yeah, but also they're not meant to run into combat.
No, not really. They're meant to be a ranged unit.
Yeah, and also they get to replenish their ammo.
Not only their own ammo, but everyone around them. It's an AoE effect.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, it's only a one-use thing. It's not a passive effect or a multiple use or anything, so it is just the
Yeah.
one.
If you can hold your enemy back, and especially in those long battles, if your like horrors are the only thing left, and it's like,
Yeah,
guess what?
especially like blue horrors, which run out of ammo pretty quick. You can basically just fill them up again.
Yeah, because they only get 5 shots, then you just get another 5 shots.
I think it's percentage based they get back, but they
Actually,
still
that
get them
kind
like
of
2 blows.
makes it viable to bring just a swarm of blue horrors to initially just throw out those volleys
And then replenish them.
refill them.
Now, unfortunately, it
throw
isn't,
another-
isn't a huge AoE, so you do have to kind of bunch them up a bit close.
Yeah.
It has only got a 55 meter range.
That's doable.
Yeah, plausible. Definitely, you can maybe stick some flamers as well. You could also regenerate the ammo of the flamers as well.
That's
'Cause
also true.
regular flamers do run out of ammo a bit quickly.
Yeah, it has a lot of utility.
Yeah,
It,
absolutely.
it
Whether or
reduces
not,
armor, increases damage for fire damage causing units, and has its melee stats are good enough to hold out against any regular infantry, like basic infantry units.
yeah, I think it is a nice support to mix in with the rest of your range units. It's
If
not,
you're going heavily in range, it's
yeah,
not
which
a
usually
bad
are
choice.
for Zinch.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I don't think it's a situation of, because I don't think Exalted Pink Horrors are that good. I think this is more of like a standalone unit with its uniqueness of the fact that it applies a supportive debuff and it restores ammo. So really, you might just bring one of these and no extra Exalted Pink Horrors.
So out of all the Retro Renown, which one do you think is currently the worst?
The worst.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. I think it might go to the Corn Bloodletters, Hellforged Host.
I
Really,
probably agree with that.
I
They
think-
don't really bring anything new to the
I think
table.
they're only really good in like the mirror match. That's about it.
Or, yeah, everything has to line up for them, or they're not very useful.
No. In
Like
terms-
they're just a big unit of stat block, which could be just filled in by other units
yeah,
for
it's-
less money.
Yeah, they're just not. Not that they're super bad. They're just not as good as like the other ones. I don't think.
Yeah, it's the worst out of the best.
In terms of what's the best of them, I think it's either the Festering Stooges or the Bringers of Beguilement. I don't play Slanesh as much as I play Nurgle. I haven't actually used either of these RRs much recently. So I haven't actually had that much test. But from what I've seen from other people, I think the Beguilement, the Bringers of Beguilement, might be better.
Yeah, I think with how Slanesh plays a lot, that unit's going to be very, very
Very good.
because again, forcing a unit to rampage and then having it follow you out and then cycle charging it is going to be
Especially
very
on like
good.
these domination maps where there's so much cover to hide them behind, like all this
Yeah.
these choke points you can move them between. Yeah, very good. But that is it
Yeah,
for
or yeah,
where you
to
go.
counter cycle charging. Yeah, it's also one of the units that kind of actually nullify some of the weaknesses of those elite infantry units.
It's not your
The only
typical elite
exception
infantry.
is not good when getting shot at, but that's kind of the case for all infantry.
Yeah, but I mean, what helps a lot is these guys have 54 speed.
Yeah, they're very fast, so they can actually get away or stay out
With
of range.
perfect
of
vigor,
armor.
that speed is not decreasing unless they get debuffed.
It's never going to decrease.
No. Yeah, so yeah, that is it for the RORs and Cathay and Kislev. Actually, you know what? as well, next week we'll be doing Slanesh, so we'll be able to take a closer look at those Bringers of Beguilement and
Yes.
make some more final observations on those. Thank you all for watching, and we'll
maybe get Alex in to talk about it. I
yeah,
guess.
he's a Slanesh main.
Yeah.
And also, hopefully we'll have some news on Immortal Empires, which we can discuss. Exciting. Big news hopefully tomorrow,
or
guys.
be horribly
Not tomorrow,
disappointed.
next week. Alright, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Yeah, don't forget to huff that copium.